Hello and one and all, and welcome back to another classic movie review. Yes, I'm talking to you every day now on. Yes, hope you enjoy my 4th of July classic reviews, Independence Day and Top Gun. Now I wanted to review a classic that has passed 35 years ago, which is the classic Back to the Future, which is directed by Robert Zemeckis. Steven Spielberg is involved in this movie as a producer. It stars Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and this is pretty much the definition of a classic. Neither I need to say more. If you are asked a really good movie question, list three teen characters from the 80s in like movies. You would think of characters like Ferris Bueller, John Bender, and especially Marty McFly, because the 80s was just so iconic, and Back to the Future is quite possibly the most iconic 80s movie out there, and neither I need to say more. So if for any reason you've not seen Back to the Future, I just don't know what to say to you. I'm going to get into spoilers, so please do yourself a favor. Stop sitting, doing nothing. Find something that has access to watch Back to the Future, whether it's a Blu-ray, if it comes on anywhere. Please do yourself a favor. This movie is the definition of a classic. But I'm sure most people have seen it anyway as a movie fan. But if a movie fan hasn't, then they've pretty much failed, because... And you guys already know the plot of the movie. It's basically about this young teenager, Marty McFly, who goes in time in the past, and he meets Christopher Lloyd, who plays Doc Brown, eventually gets him back to his current time, 1985, which is basically the part of the concept of the movie, which everyone kind of knows, really. You already know the concept. I don't need to say more. Like, Michael J. Fox is just an icon of an actor. And Marty McFly is just an iconic 80s character, for sure, and just he's one of the coolest dudes you would ever want to hang out with. Especially if you ever want to time travel, which isn't a real thing. But I was in a DeLorean one time 5 years ago in a Heroes and Legends Comic Con, and it was pretty insane. And yeah, it was pretty much like having a dream car. A DeLorean is pretty much the iconic dream car of forever, because this car is just so iconic. And also Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, who's possibly my favourite character of the movie. Well, both characters are amazing, but sometimes it tends to be Doc Brown, especially with those one-liners, those quilts. Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. Great Scott. 1.21 gigawatts! Like, those lines I just cannot get enough of. They're just so iconic. And you, of course, have the iconic bully in the movie, Biff, who is pretty much... Yes, I know I'm looking at my phones. I'm sorry, but Biff is pretty much the bully of the movie, and the villain. I know, I'm not good at talking, I know. Then you have George McFly, who is Marty McFly's father. Then you also have Jennifer, who is Marty McFly's girlfriend. And I love how this movie is a comedy as well. It's more than just a sci-fi movie. It's a comedy. I mean, whatever genre this movie is, it works. Especially a comedy movie, because you see Marty McFly's mother in but when uh, after when Marty McFly travels to 1955 and eventually meets a younger version of his mother, and all of a sudden starts to fall in love with her son in the future, which neither I need to say more, because that is just great comedy. And I love the Pepsi and everything. Oh, when Marty McFly goes to the cafe, and the skateboard scene as well is just iconic. There's a lot of iconic moments in Back to the Future, especially with the friendship with Doc Brown and Marty McFly. It's one of the best connections in a movie ever. Like, they get on so well, especially how they're trying to get Marty McFly back to his current time in 1985. And the finale is like one of the best finales you can ask for. It's basically Doc Brown on top of this building, with the wire and everything, and just Marty McFly driving to the wire with the hook, and Doc Brown just going down that zip line, and then the lightning comes on, and you have that iconic scene, which is just... it's just so iconic. This movie is a classic for a reason. And yes, you also get to see some, school stuff in the here and there, and I love the moments where you see Marty McFly on a guitar. It's just great, And yeah, what else do I need to say about Back to the Future? This movie is a classic. This was one of those movies where, would I ever review this movie on my YouTube channel? Since I first made this YouTube channel back in 2015, I ever wondered to myself, would I ever review this movie? Because this movie is just a classic, and here I am today, bringing you some, along with other great movies. I was like that as well. Star Wars, of course, I was going to review, but other classics would I ever review, like Jaws, Jurassic Park, like movies that just mean a lot to me. And this movie is a good example and a welcome addition to this hobby in general. And if this was a standalone movie, I wouldn't mind it, honestly, because it works very well as a standalone movie. I mean, at some point I may review the Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. Maybe on the 21st of October, Back to the Future Part 2, because 5 years ago, back in 2015, it was Back to the Future Day, and that was where Back to the Future Part 2 took place. So maybe, but I don't know. But it's mostly this original classic you want to review. But overall, guys, Back to the Future is pretty much the definition of an 80s classic that has just amazing characters, amazing moments, and the score by Alan Silvestri. I know I've pronounced his name wrong, I know, but this and The Avengers are like his two most iconic scores. Back to the Future and The Avengers. Whenever you hear those themes, you'll know it's Alan Silvestri, who is easily one of the best composers ever. He's right up there, easily in the top 5. And this is easy in the top 5 favourite movies of all time. The characters are amazing. The acting is just brilliant. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd. Biff is a great villain. And yeah, and if I reviewed this movie for this year that I started to give letter grades, I would easily give this a 10 out of 10. But now it gets a similar grade to that, an A+. Like, how could I not give this movie an A+? I mean, everyone has their favourite movies, but as a movie lover who is invested, this is one of those movies that deserves the highest grade possible. And of course this movie gets an A+ on my letter grade scale. You know, it gets all the above high grades. It's easily one of my favourite movies of all time. It's in the top 5 easily. And there you go, guys. That was my review of Back to the Future. Hope you guys are enjoying some classic movie reviews. This is something I've been wanting to do during quarantine, and I hope you are. Maybe I'll review another one, but I don't know. But 4th of July and reviewing Back to the Future for its anniversary, even though it was the 3rd of July it came out, but who cares anyway. This movie's a classic. I love it so much I cannot stop thinking about it. But comment down below, let me know below in the comments, what is your favourite 80s movie? You know, let me know below in the comments. Let's have a great discussion in the comments. And as always, comment, like, subscribe, share this video, notify the bell before you leave. All my social media links will be in the description below. And as always, guys, until my next video, I shall see you guys then, and peace.